This is the batch for preliminary examination, right? Clear? So I'm here today to discuss about the trend of the questions being asked from history and culture in preliminary examination and how to approach the paper. Clear? First of all, I'll let you know, clear, how to go about with this section, how to approach this section, being quite a comprehensive section. So we are discussing about the trend, the analysis of history and culture for preliminary examination. Clear? That is for UPSC General Studies Paper 1. Fine. So first of all, I'll let you know, clear, it's a quite comprehensive section related to history and culture. Normally every year you get almost 15 to 20 questions on conservative side from history and culture. Clear? That is minimum I'm talking about. Sometimes it has been 22, 23 questions also. If we take on an average 20 questions also, clear, it is almost 1/5 of the total paper. Clear? 1/5 is a big number, decisive number to get through in prelims examination, and this is the section, only section in general studies with which is purely traditional in nature, meaning thereby, clear, that all other sections needs to be updated with current developments, current affairs, be it polity, be it even geography also, environment, ecology. Unlike all these sections, this is the only section, once it is prepared thoroughly in this examination, at least out of 20 questions, it's not a big task to correct 12 to 13 questions. Clear? On a realistic side, make it very clear, you cannot correct 20 out of 20 questions. You cannot correct 100% section in any section. Clear? And that is why the cutoff is almost 110. Not you don't have to do, the UPSC doesn't expect you to write all 100 questions. 30 questions are not known to anyone. So you need to go into examination hall with clear-cut perspective, realistic consideration that 30 questions is not known to anyone sitting in the examination. It's not with you, it's with everyone, and that is the beauty of UPSC paper. Out of 70 questions, you need to correct out 55 to 60 questions to get through into preliminary examination, meaning thereby out of 5 sections prescribed in this examination, you need to correct 50% out of every section in order to sail through easily in this examination. So being on the realistic side, if 20 questions are asked on an average from history and culture, target should be to correct 12 to 13 questions. Clear? If it's your day, you can write 15 to 16 questions also. If it's not, in adverse situation also, it should not be less than 10 questions. Clear? Now to correct that 10 to 12 questions, clear, in preliminary examination with clear-cut confidence, what is the approach? What needs to be done? Purpose of this session is to understand what nuances are to be understood to solve those 10 to 12 questions easily without any hiccups in those 2 hours of examination. Okay? First of all, for this, you need to understand what is the trend of the question in the last 4 to 5 years. This trend will help you to understand that there are some sections from where questions are appearing every time. Clear? Maybe questions may change, but topic is not changing. Clear? So first of all, needs to identify those topics, then to master those topics properly, so that even if minute details is asked from those topics, you are not committed, or you cannot commit any mistake. What do veterans do? Veterans do the same thing. From those 60 questions, they don't commit any silly mistakes, and they get through in prelims examination easily. So first target is to get those 55 to 60 questions, and in history, out of 20 to get those 10 to 12 minimum threshold questions to get it corrected. Okay? Now looking into the past trends of this examination, let us start first of all to understand the syllabus. The syllabus prescribed with respect to history in preliminary examination is History of India and Indian National Movement. Clear? So the topic that is prescribed, first of all, we need to understand the topic itself. Clear? The topic prescribed in UPSC syllabus is History of India and Indian National Movements. See, personally, I don't use PPT and all. Clear? I'll be explaining you through my own concepts. Understand the concepts clearly. Clear? So there's no point. I'll tell you the questions also. I'll tell you the areas also. Don't worry about it. So first of all, be original. This is the topic mentioned in the syllabus of UPSC, History of India and Indian National Movement. Clear? When we say History of India, what do we mean? We basically mean history of ancient India, history of medieval India, and history of modern India. Clear? Modern India till the beginning of Indian National Movement. Indian National Movement is mentioned separately. Make one thing very clear, world history is not a part of preliminary examination. Clear? So, history of India and Indian National Movement. Art and culture is not mentioned in the syllabus, but it is embedded in history of India, because in history of India you have to study about society and culture also. Clear? Art and culture is specifically mentioned for mains examination in paper 1, not in preliminary examination, but questions are asked not separately as art and culture but as part of history of India. Clear? So ancient India, medieval India and modern India. Now we'll understand. Clear? From ancient India, what are the areas from which questions are being asked every year and oft repeatedly the areas? Clear? If we start from ancient India starts with evolution of human beings, and that starts with prehistoric period. Clear? If from prehistoric period, I'll tell you each and every area. From prehistoric area, that is Paleolithic phase, Mesolithic phase, Neolithic phase, you won't get any question. Clear? But you'll get question on one artistic development that took place in prehistoric period, and that was rock paintings at Bhimbetka, because it is a part of Indian culture, also included in the list of World Heritage Sites. So one area that comes out is the area of prehistoric art. Clear? And prehistoric art, largely the art of paintings at Bhimbetka. Clear? In ancient India, thereafter, you get question on another topic, that is Indus Valley Civilization. Culture respected question you will get from Indus Valley Civilization. Clear? Apart from Indus Valley Civilization, you get question on Rig Veda or Vedic literature as such. Clear? From here, the question that is asked oft repeatedly, I'll put a star mark. Clear? You get question largely on Upanishads. Clear? 2 years back, there was a question, clear, that the line Satyamev Jayate, based on the Ashokan inscription or pillar at Sarnath, has been taken from the options were different Upanishads, and the answer is Mundak Upanishads. That is very expected question, clear? But why Upanishads? Because Upanishads is a dividing line in history. Materialism was followed till this time, and from Upanishad, spiritualism began to emphasize that is connectivity of Atma, soul, with Brahma or the creator. And since from here spiritualism starts, clear? From here, different schools of philosophy began to develop, and with this aspect, you have to prepare 6 orthodox schools of philosophy. That is Samkhya school, that is Vaisheshika school, Yoga school, Vedanta school. You have to prepare 6 schools of philosophy. Related to that only, clear? You have to prepare about the philosophy of some prominent personalities like Shankaracharya. This time the question was on Ramanuj. Clear? And why the question was asked? Our Prime Minister unveiled the statue of Ramanuj at Hyderabad. One statement was that, and second statement was philosophy of Ramanuj known as Visishta Advaitwad. Clear? So here only you have to prepare about 3 philosophers. These philosophers are Shankaracharya, Ramanuj and Madhvacharya. 3 philosophers are important. This time the question was on Ramanuj. This time it can be question on Shankaracharya. It can be question on Madhvacharya as well. Clear? This is important. All the Math also established by Shankaracharya. Maths are in news these days just because of Virashaiva Math. That was one saint arrested on issues of sexual assault. Clear? And Maths are 4 Maths were established by Shankaracharya. Clear? The first being Govardhan Math in Odisha, Dwarka Math in western part of India, then Sharda Peeth in the southern part in Karnataka, and Jyotirmath in Uttarakhand, Chamoli district. Clear? So you need to prepare these areas. Its trend is very clear. Clear? Apart from this, in ancient India, you need to prepare about one topic thoroughly, and this topic is Buddhism. Every aspect of Buddhism. Philosophy of Gautam Buddha, teachings of Gautam Buddha, Buddhist sects, Buddhist architecture like stupas, Buddhist art also like Gandhar School of Art, Mathura School of Art, and Amravati School of Art. Every aspect of Buddhism. And if you are preparing Buddhism, obviously you will also prepare about Jainism, and you will also prepare about one important sect, that is Ajivikas. Clear? You have to prepare this. This is the major areas in ancient India. Apart from this, you need to prepare one topic from ancient India, and that is Mauryas. And from Mauryas, clear, you will get question which is with depth analysis. See, you have to understand one thing in history and culture. Whenever a large empire has to be established, you have to go into depth. And whenever smaller dynasty has to be read, you only have to be superficial. Founders, major contribution, nothing more than that. But when large empire established means you have to go into depth. This time, two questions from Mauryan Empire. One was from Arthashastra, another was related to Megasthenes. Clear? You get question because the most important source to study Mauryan Empire is Arthashastra of Kautil, Indica of Megasthenes, and Ashokan inscriptions, pillar edicts. Mauryas has to be done. Clear? In post-Mauryan period, you have to prepare only about Kanishk. Clear? Because why Kanishk? Kanishk is a very important ruler that kept the large part of North India connected with Central Asia. He brought huge amount of gold to India that led to circulation of gold coins in India. He patronized the fourth Buddhist council in Kashmir. So Kanishk becomes important, started the historical era known as Shaka era. Clear? After Kanishk, the next important topic from culture point of view is you have to prepare about Guptas only with respect to art. Kalidas, all the dramatic works of Kalidas, then the works of Amar Simha, Amarkosh, then final compilation of Ramayana and Mahabharata by Valmiki and Vyas. All took place during the Gupta period, and at the same time Gupta period witnessed the completion of two arts were found at caves of Ajanta and Ellora. Very important art because they marks the beginning of fresco paintings in India and climax of mural paintings in India. So Bhimbetka marks the beginning of mural paintings. Mural paintings means paintings are on solid surface. Clear? And mural paintings reach its climax during Gupta's in the caves of Ajanta and Ellora. Prepare these topics. At Ajanta we have 29 caves. At Ellora we have 32 caves. Clear? 29 caves. Among those, 25 are Chaityas, 25 are Viharas, and 4 are Chaityas. And in Ellora, 16 caves are devoted to Brahmanism, 12 to Buddhism, and 4 to Jainism. Clear? Gupta's period. Clear? And after Gupta's, no topic to be prepared because we don't get question on Harsh and all in prelims examination. Clear? This is the broad areas to be done for ancient India. Nothing would be missed out. Make it very clear. Clear? If you prepare these areas, if you prepare these topics, you will get questions. I'm not saying that if in ancient India you get 10 questions or 8 questions, you will correct 8 out of it. No. But you will correct 4 to 5 questions easily. My target is that out of 20, your target should be to correct 12 to 13 questions without any major problems. But these areas are very limited areas. You need to prepare these areas thoroughly. Don't skip any aspect of this topic because if you get question also and you are not able to correct the question from these areas, then you are at fault. Okay? So when you are preparing these areas, it won't take more than a week's time to prepare all these areas thoroughly. Clear? And within a week, ancient India is done. And believe me, now it is not a trend that you get questions only from modern India. These times that shifting the trend, they are asking more questions from ancient and medieval, less questions from modern India. This time there were 16 questions, only 4 questions from modern India. Clear? Rest of the questions from ancient, medieval and art and culture. You cannot ignore that. These are the areas to be done. Is there any question in your mind? Is there any question in your mind? This is the broad circumference to be done. Now coming to the next part, that is the medieval part. Clear? Now we'll look into medieval part. Clear? What exactly is to be done for medieval history? First of all, I'll let you know. Clear? Medieval history has three parts. Clear? Three parts means the first part is known as the early medieval. Second part is known as the part known as Delhi Sultanate. And the third part is known as Mughals or Mughal Empire. It's clear? Three parts. This part cannot be ignored. You get questions from early medieval India. Now, what is the trend? This time also, they will give you dynasties and they will give you founders. This time also, clear? Because this period is marked by large number of smaller dynasties. Chalukyas, Pallavas, four Rajputs also, Pratihars, Parmars, Chalukyas, Chauhans, clear, Gadavalas of Kannauj, Tomars of Delhi, Chandelas of Bundelkhand. Then in southern part of India we have Rashtrakutas. Then we have got Chola Empire, large number of kingdoms. So they will not go into depth. What they will do is, they'll give you dynasties on the one hand, they'll give you founders on the other hand. You just have to match the things, clear? So all major founders and dynasties. This is one thing to be done. Here, culturally, it is very important. Why? Because here, this phase marks the beginning of Tamil Bhakti movement. Clear? Tamil Bhakti, because Bhakti emerged in southern part of India, and this Bhakti was promoted by two groups of saints known as Alvars and Nayanars. Here only a very important movement started, and this movement is known as the movement of Lingayats, also known as Birashevas. Prepare Lingayats very well. This is in news for the last 6-7 months. You can get any question on Lingayats, and this sect was established by a person known as Basavanna, clear? And he promoted Kannada literature in the southern part of India. Kannada literature started from here only. The first writer of Kannada literature was Amogh Vash, clear? So Tamil literature started in ancient India from Sangam age, clear? Kannada literature started here by Amogh Vash. Telugu literature started by Vijayanagar, and Malayalam literature started in 18th century. These are four Dravidian languages, clear? So Tamil Bhakti movement started in southern part of India. In early medieval, you also need to prepare about Sareen's work known as Rashtarangini, because it is the first Sanskrit work that mentions about history in right chronological order. Okay? In this period, you also need to prepare about one important writer who has written elaborately about India, Al-Biruni, his work being known as Kitabul Hind. Clear? Very important, it's an encyclopedia on India because that mentions about history, geography, culture and every other aspect of Indian society. Al-Biruni's work, Kitabul India or Book of India. These areas from early medieval. Apart from this, you need to prepare about one important cultural topic from here, temples. Temples began to be constructed in real sense. From here, the most prolific builder of temple being Cholas. Raj first, Rajendra first. And Raj first constructed a Shiv temple at Tanjore known as Brihadeshwar temple, which marks the climax of the Dravid style of temple architecture. Dravid means story upon story constructed in decreasing order, the structure being known as Viman. In northern part of India, the temples are constructed in Nagar style, whereby the whole mandap is enclosed with two curvilinear towers known as Shikhar. In South India, under Dravid style, a story upon story is constructed that meet at common point known as Viman. Okay? And there's a hybrid style followed in central India, which is a mix of Nagar and Dravid style known as the Vesar style. So Dravid style reaches glory under Cholas, and they constructed temples like Brihadeshwar temple at Tanjore by Raj first. Cholas needs to be prepared thoroughly. Under Cholas, you also need to prepare about their local self-government. They made a very important innovation with respect to local self-government. They gave autonomy to local government as we give autonomy to Panchayati Raj and municipal bodies in contemporary times. Very important innovation done. When we move to Delhi Sultanate, trend is very clear. Clear? In Delhi Sultanate, politically, the most important thing is that all Delhi Sultans, that is from slave dynasty, then Khaljis, then Tughlaqs, then Lodhis, all of them got affected by one thing. And that one major thing was continuous attack of Mongols. Every year you get question. This time also 3 statements were asked. Clear that during Alauddin Khalji, how many Mongol invasions took place? The third invasion, Kutlu Khwaja reached up to Delhi. Alauddin Khalji had to adopt several measures to deal with Mongol threat. Clear. So you need to prepare Mongols. This time also there was a question on Mongols. Clear. So Delhi Sultanate, first politically important thing is to prepare on Mongols, and some sultans you need to prepare. Clear? In slave dynasty, you need to prepare about one sultan, that is Balban. Clear? In Khaljis, obviously you have to prepare everything about Alauddin Khalji. In Tughlaqs, you have to prepare about Muhammad bin Tughlaq and Firoz Shah Tughlaq both. Clear? This one thing, politically speaking. Clear? Don't emphasize much on this. But importantly, in Delhi Sultanate, you need to focus on 2 things. Clear? One important thing is Sufism. Another is Bhakti. In Sufism, prepare about Chishti Silsila. All the Sufi saints of Chishti Silsila, starting with Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti, ending with Nasiruddin Chirag Delhi. Even Amir Khusro was a Sufi saint and follower of Nizamuddin Aulia. Bhakti, you need to prepare all the Vaishnav Bhakti movement that took place in northern part of India, starting with Narsingh Mehta in Gujarat, Mirabai in Rajasthan, Shankar Dev in Assam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bengal, and Surdas in Uttar Pradesh. All Bhakti saints to be prepared thoroughly because they promoted even regional languages also. Clear? So Sultanate phase is important for Bhakti and Sufi. Very important development that took place. Clear? Apart from this, you won't get any question on architecture. Why? Sultanate phase marked the rudimentary beginning of Indo-Islamic architecture. Real construction work started under Mughals. So question on architecture will get from Mughals, not from Delhi Sultanate. In Delhi Sultanate, you'll get question on Sufism and Bhakti. And we'll get questions on these important monarchs. Is this clear in Delhi Sultanate? Between Delhi Sultanate and Mughals, there was a phase of regional kingdoms. And among those regional kingdoms, you need to prepare about 2 regional kingdoms thoroughly. One regional kingdom is known as the Kingdom of Vijayanagar, and second kingdom is known as the Kingdom of Bahmani. Clear? And in Vijayanagar, always prepare thoroughly about one important monarch, Krishnadev Raya, KDR. Telugu literature started by him, the first Telugu work being known as Amukta Malayada, written on polity and governance. Prepare this. Clear? Bahmani kingdom, because Bahmani kingdom in course of time got divided into 5 principalities. Among them, culturally, the 2 most important were the Golconda kingdom, which founded the start city of Hyderabad. Clear? And second was Bijapuri kingdom, because one of the ruler of Bijapuri constructed his own tomb or mausoleum, which is known as Gol Gumbad. Adil Shah. And Gol Gumbad is the second largest dome all across the world after the dome of St. Thomas Church in Rome, Italy. Clear? So culturally, Bahmanis are also important along with Vijayanagar kingdom. Telugu literature started from here. Then after this, directly come to Mughals. Clear? In Mughals also, the trend is quite clear. In Mughals, you will get question largely from, is it fine? Shall I erase? Clear? In Mughals, the trend is very clear. First of all, in Mughals, we did discuss about art and architecture till this time under Delhi Sultanate, because all of them wanted to rule on Islamic principles, and art and architecture was not largely promoted according to principles of Islamic faith. But Mughals proved to be quite liberal in nature, especially from the reign of Akbar. So they promoted art, architecture, and language and literature also. Clear? So you need to prepare first of all Mughal art. And in Mughal art, the most important thing to be prepared is Mughal painting. The painting reaches climax under Jahangir. Clear? Then in Mughals, you need to prepare about architecture. And architecture reached its glory under Shah Jahan. Taj Mahal, Red Fort at Delhi, Moti Masjid, all constructed by Shah Jahan. Clear? So art also, architecture also, and then language and literature also. Clear? Why language and literature? The reason is they not only promoted Persian, they even gave support to Sanskrit, Hindi, and under the patronage of Mughals only, the greatest Hindi writer emerged, that is Tulsi Das, who wrote his work Ramcharitmanas. You get these works. Clear? So Mughals important for art and architecture. And obviously you need to prep thoroughly about the greatest monarch of medieval India, Akbar, his religious policy and his Rajput policy. Clear? Because he is considered to be most tolerant monarch of medieval India. So his religious policy like Sulh-e-Kul, establishment of Ibadat Khana, and at the same time given support by three major persons, Abul Fazl, Faizi, and his father Sheikh Mubarak. Akbar needs to be done. Clear? Not Aurangzeb and all. In medieval India here, you also need to prepare about Marathas. Clear? Especially Shivaji. And why Marathas are important this time? Because even the Indian Navy has changed its flag and it has been inspired by the naval flag of the Marathas. So prepare Marathas thoroughly, especially Shivaji, his guerrilla strategy of warfare, and at the same time his administrative reforms. Clear? And after Marathas, in modern India, we'll look into the role played even by the Peshwas. Clear? The first Peshwa being Balaji Vishwanath. If you prepare these areas, believe me, out of 5 to 6 questions which are asked, clear, you would be able to correct 6 to 7 questions. You will be able to get 4 to 5 questions easily. Clear? One topic which has been asked last 2-3 days, which I won't emphasize much, is from medieval India, they're asking some terms. Clear? This time they ask the term fanam. Fanam indicating coins. Clear? They talks about kuladaran, that is pointed cap used by the sayyars. Clear? But these terms, there are thousands of terms in medieval India. Clear? Be realistic in nature. If you have the capacity to mug up, it's okay. If not, don't run after that. Because I'm saying you, be realistic. I'm not saying that out of 8 questions asked from medieval India, correct 8 out of 8. No. Rather than giving those so much of effort to correct those one question, give that effort to another area from where you can correct 3 to 4 questions. Clear? Be realistic in approach. Clear? Because you have to cross the minimum threshold of 55 to 60 questions. Don't take anything on emotion. Clear? If you are realistic, you will easily get through. If you are worried that 2 questions are being asked from the terms and you start mugging up 1,000 terms, there is no guarantee that you will get the term. Are you getting my point? So be realistic in nature. Clear? These areas will fetch you 50% of the question, that is for sure. It's clear? Now coming to the most important area, and the most important area obviously is modern India. Now modern India, again, the trend seems to be very clear. In fact, it is the most predictable area among in history. What do I mean to say predictable area? Don't need to go through spectrum and all. I'll let you know. Clear? Just make things easier. Modern India, first of all. One question that comes almost every year is with respect to establishment of factories by European companies in different parts of India. British established their factories at Masulipatnam, Surat. Dutch came to India, they established their factories. French came to India, they established their factories. You'll get one question on factories. They can ask you anything. They can ask you which was the first factory established, which among the following established the factory at this place. They can ask you anything. One question from factories. Every year you will get this question. Clear? Second question that is asked from modern India, which is very clear, is something related to or anything related to the conquest of Bengal. It can be dual government, it can be drain of wealth, it can be misuse of dastaks, it can be Diwani rights, anything related to province of Bengal. And when I say Bengal, I mean to say Battle of Plassey also, I mean to say Battle of Buxar also. Clear? Anything related to Bengal, which was the most important province. Clear? Not Awadh, not Mysore, but they will ask question from the province of Bengal. Clear? Beyond Bengal, they can also ask question on Anglo-French rivalry, also known as Carnatic Wars. Clear? So politically, they ask question either from Bengal or from Carnatic Wars, for 3 wars league between British and French in India. Very expected area for in prelims examination. Clear? Moving to this area, political history. Clear? The one area which is most expected, and you are bound to get one question or 2 questions from this area. This is economic policy of British East India Company. Under economic policy, you have to prepare 2 topics thoroughly. One is the trade policy, another is land revenue settlements, permanent, Rayatwari, Mahalwari. You get question. That is for sure. Clear? Economic impact also. For mines in India, this time full-fledged question, mains examination, deindustrialization in India, commercialization of agriculture in India, drain of wealth from India. You will get, I would say you shall get one question sure from economic policy. No one can avoid that. Because the most important brunt that you are still facing is economic exploitation of British done on with Indian resources. Economic policy. Okay? Coming to administration, you will get question on British legislations. Now prepare this topic. Modern India is very predictable, I'm telling you. Starting with Regulating Act of 1773 till the Government of India Act 1935. Clear? And in that also, I'll let you know one thing. Clear? You are expected to get questions from 2 legislation. Government of India Act 1919, Government of India Act 1935. Last year also, there was a question from Government of India Act 1919 related to diarchy. Before this also, there were 2 statements, one from Government of India Act 1919, another from Government of India Act 1935. And the statements were, under Government of India Act 1919, direct election was introduced in India. Women were given voting rights under Government of India Act 1935. Clear? You will get question. Because these are the 2 most comprehensive legislations enacted by British Parliament for Indian affairs. But to be on a safer side, prepare all the legislations. That is, from Regulating Act of 1773 till the Government of India Act 1935. Clear? Apart from this legislation, prepare some social reform legislations enacted by British India, like abolition of sati, abolition of slavery, and legalization of widow remarriages in India. These legislations also to be done. But more importantly, Regulating Act of 1773 till Government of India Act 1935. It's clear. Apart from this, another topic from British company's role, and that is development related to education. If you look into last year paper, there were 3 questions only from education back to back in the paper. Clear? And questions were very easy. One question was only related to founder and educational institution, like Calcutta Madrasa, Warren Hastings, Sanskrit College, Jonathan Duncan, Asiatic Society of Bengal, William Jones. Clear? One question was this. Second question was, which among the following led to introduction of English education in India? Answer options were Charter Act of 1813, in General Instructions of 1823, Orientalist and Anglicist controversy. Direct question. Third question was related to Wood's Dispatch. What else can you expect? Just from a small topic, 3 questions back to back in the paper. Clear? You have to prepare on education. Clear? This is under socio-culture policy. This done. First phase of modern India is done. Clear? What is there? I have told you. Nothing much. Factories, Bengal, Anglo-French struggle, economic policy, trade policy, and land revenue, all the 3 legislations, and then education. I think it's a work of only 2 to 3 days. Not more than that. And again I say, if you get 8 questions out of this topic, you won't be able to get 8 out of 8, but 6 cannot be out of your reach. Work is done. Purpose is solved. Now coming to Indian national movement. Okay? Now we'll look into the areas which are important from Indian national, which is mentioned separately in our syllabus. Okay? And believe me, get rid of the common perception that this is the most important topic. Last time, there was not even a single question. Not even a single question from National Movement Prelims, and not even a single question mains also. 3 questions were asked in Modern India and mains. 2 questions from first part of Modern India, British India Company, and 1 question on states reorganization, post-independent era. They completely bypassed the national movement. Get rid of common perception. But we cannot take a risk. We have to prepare national movement. That needs to be do justice with the topic. We'll understand what are the expected areas. First and the most important thing, even though it's a political movement, from our examination perspective, the most important topic from where you will get question is socio-religious reform movement. 1 question. Socio-religious means both. Clear? Not only Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Brahm Samaj and all. No. You will also get questions on depressed class movement. Depressed class movement means movement launched by Dalit, Jyotiba Phule, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar, Sri Narayan Guru. You can get any question. At the same time, movement related to women emancipation. And women emancipation largely related to prohibition against child marriage and widow remarriages. Clear? All legislations, Native Marriage Act, then Age of Consent Act, then Sharda Act, Child Marriage Restraint Amendment Act, that ultimately led to the enhancement of minimum marriageable age for girls as 18 years in 1978 from 12 years. Starting with 12 years, it was raised to 14 years and then to 18 years. Women emancipation, depressed class movement. You will get even 2 questions also. But 1 question, no way, it has to be there in the paper, because no one can justify modern India without skipping this topic. This is clear. Now this is the parallel trend coming to the national movement as such. Clear? Now what expected from national movement? National movement basically means from 1885 to 1947 with formation of Congress will grant. Normally starts from mighty revolt of 1857 only, but we normally start from 1885 to 1947. Clear? The first phase is known as the moderate phase, normally from 1885 to 1905. You must bring over the leaders. Now what is the question expected from this topic? Clear? You'll get question on economic nationalism. Why economic nationalism? Most of the moderates were highly qualified people, and the most important contribution is economic critique of imperialism. Dadabhai Naoroji, R.C. Dutt, Mahadev Govind Ranade, Gopal Krish Gokhale, all of them criticized British economic policy to unite the people. So economic nationalism. And this was the major theme of the first mass movement also launched after partition of Bengal, and that was Swadeshi and the boycott movement. Clear? Because the most important thing was economic nationalism and cultural growth. Moderate phase. The most important thing, economic nationalism. From extremist phase. Clear? Normally, UPSC does not ask question. Look into the paper. We have found very rarely questions on Tilak. We have found very questions rarely on Bipin Chandra Pal or Bindo Ghosh, because their role remained to be highly limited in nature. Clear? So normally, if you will get question, you will get question only on Tilak, not maximum. Clear? And Tilak, his works, Maratha, Kesari, his basically works to promote nationalism related to Marathi people, Deccan Education Society, not politically. Clear? Even though he contributed significantly, but related to Tilak, you get question from extremist phase related to one important leader, and that leader was Annie Besant, first woman president of Indian National Congress. You'll get question Annie Besant. Not only this, Annie Besant's contribution towards home rule movement. Annie Besant promoted Central Hindu School at Banaras, published some papers also, and they were considered to be the most important women contributor. Clear? Get Annie Besant. Clear? This is the only topic to be prepared. Coming to the third phase, that is also known as the Gandhian phase, that started with 1915 when Mahatma Gandhi came to India. Clear? Now, first of all, what questions are expected from the Gandhian phase? I'll let you know. Clear? The question that is expected from Gandhian phase is, first of all, the trend that goes is literary works. Very decent trend. They ask question on literary works, even of Mahatma Gandhi also. Indian Opinion, Hind Swaraj, clear. All these, even Harijan that he began to publish from 1932, literary works are asked. Clear? At the same time, they emphasize on features of the mass movement. Clear? Features are very important in UPSC. For instance, what are the features of non-cooperation movement? Features of civil disobedience movement and features of Quit India movement. Features, that is non-cooperation movement marked by unprecedented unity between Hindus and Muslims. Civil disobedience movement marked by huge participation of women. Quit India movement marked by large participation of students. Features will be asked. Both these movements were peaceful in nature. Quit India movement was violent and spontaneous in nature. Nature will be asked. Clear? Quit India movement supported by socialists, but was not supported by communists because Hitler attacked Soviet Union. Features will be asked. Clear? Features need to be prepared. Clear? And in between this, I'll let you know two phases. One is the phase from 1928 till 1932. You get one question because this 4 years, several developments took place. It can be with Swaraj Party. It can be with resolution of Purn Swaraj at Lahore session. It can be 3 sessions of roundtable conferences. It can also be execution of Sardar Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru. It can also be related to the depressed class movement like Pune Pact signed between Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhi. Several developments took place. This is one phase. And similarly, another phase is 40 to 47 when transfer of power took place. Every year August offer, CRIPS proposal. Every year you can get question on cabinet mission plan. You can get question on interim government. Every year you will get one question from 40 to 47. 2 phases. Clear? And apart from this, some major trends of national movement. In major trends, first of all, you need to prepare about peasant movement, working class movement, states people's movement, and then it's also known as Prajamental movement, and growth and development of press. These are some topics from where questions are asked. Done. Don't need to go into much details. If you prepare this, if you get 5 questions from national movement, you will be able to get 3 to 4. That is for sure. And I'm saying this not because of any topic. I'm saying this on the basis of the previous year questions. Go back to your room and look into the previous year questions. And you will realize questions has been asked from these topics. Continuously. Clear? Don't need to go anything else. And avoid reading any book page to page. Because any book is not written to cater to the requirement alone. And maybe it is written only for UPSC. It may not be catering to the present trend. Books cannot be revised every year, no? It's not possible. So don't read any book page to page. Read the books from where topics are asked. So pick up those topics, mark those topics, read those areas rather than wasting time on reading all the books from page 1 to page 1000. No point. And if you follow this strategy rather than going through books, going through topics, clear, you will be able to cover more number of books on that topic. You will have more number of information on that topic. At least those expected areas, you will not be committing mistake. For instance, if you have to prepare on press, read press from, I won't stop you, read press from Bipin Chandra also, read press from B.L. Grover also, which is a very important book on modern India. And if time permits, read press from Spectrum also. But prepare press in such a manner that nothing is missed out. Rather than reading Bipin Chandra from page number 1 to page number 560, reverse the strategy. Clear? Read several books related to topics. Make sure that from those areas you are not committing any mistake. What happens when we read books from page 1 to 100? Clear? Our effort and our concentration gets spread out. We are not able to intensify focus on one topic. Rather, that focus gets diverted to all the areas. And what happens is, when we go to examination room, we know out of 3 statements, we know 1 statement. We are 50-50 about second statement, and we don't know the third statement. What is the point? Ultimately, your answer will not be right. But rather than reading page to page, if you have read that topic from several books, you would be able to know all the 3 statements of that topic. You won't be able to commit any mistake. And they ask question like this only. Mongols, there was a question, the first Mongol invasion took place during the reign of Khaljis. No, it was wrong. The first Mongol invasion took place during Iltutmish. And then Balban also. Second statement was that in the third Mongol invasion during Alauddin Khalji, the invader reached up to Delhi. This is right statement given Satish Chandra. Third statement that Mongol invasion also took place during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Now what does it mean? You need to prepare Mongol invasions thoroughly. If you miss out anything, you will be knowing 2 statements, you will not be knowing the third one. Ultimately, what is the objective? Answer will not be right. When I say legislations, and when I say Regulating Act of 1773, I won't mean that only 4 provisions to be known. No. The background of that legislation, all the minute provisions of that legislation, and the limitations of that legislation. I mean to say anything can be asked. But if you read, suppose, polity book only like Lakshmikant, you will know only 4 provisions, no? That's Governor General was appointed, councillors were appointed, executive council came, that's all. But you will not be able to correct the answer. Take my words. Because they will give you only 1 statement from them, 2 other statements from other sources. Then what will you do? You think that you are prepared with the Regulating Act. You are not. Because you have missed some aspects and UPSC knows that. They will pick 1 statement from B.L. Grover. The court of directors who were appointed, it was made clear that till this time they were appointed every year, not they were to be appointed for a term of 4 years. 1/4 of them retiring every 2 years. Now this is not the Lakshmikant. Then what will you do then? Wrong. Don't read books page by page. Read books topic wise. I have given you the areas. Identify those areas, sit back and prepare. This would really help you to realize your potential. And this is smart approach. Hard work is not enough. Enough is that it should be guided by a smart approach. Everyone is working hard, but all of them are not getting through. But those who are working hard with smart approach, they are getting through. And in prelims, be very smart enough. You don't have to top the list. You just have to cross the minimum limit because marks are not added in your rank. So just make it clear, 55 to 60 questions. Be realistic. 30 questions you won't be knowing, and it's not with you. Those who are preparing for 10 years also, they will not be knowing those 30 questions. Competition is not there for those 30 questions. Competition is there for those 60 to 65 questions. And veterans don't commit mistakes in those questions. And you have to snatch a seat from veterans. So know, if you want to beat the system, know the system properly first of all. You have to know that system, realize this thing. This is the major problem that is being committed. If you take Yojana also, we start reading page from 1 to 5. What is the utility? Look into the topic which is then the syllabus. Read that article. Save your time. And utilize that spare time to read another thing. From where you can get 2 more questions. Be very smart that you have to take out 55 to 60 questions in the examination room. Don't get emotional with any topic. Don't get emotional with anything, books and all. Be very smart enough to take those 55 to 60 questions. That is the target of yours. Even if you have read Bipin Chandra Pain 1 to 100 pages and you are not able to get 1 question, useless. It's worthless. Are you getting what I basically mean to say? Clear? Follow. And it's not with history, I'm telling you. It's with every topic. You need to be very smart. Environment. 17 questions are being asked. In environment, biodiversity. How many questions can you catch? No. Because myriad of diversity is there. But when you go for environmental protocols, like UNFCCC Paris Agreement, you can correct questions because that is within your reach. So identify those areas and don't commit mistake in those areas. You are through with that. But if you know environment overall is very important, 16 questions are asked, I will not leave anything. Believe me, after 10 years also you will not be able to complete environment. No, you cannot do that. There's no limit. So be smart enough what to get, what to leave and what to focus upon. First of all, draw that line. The time you will draw that line, the work is done. Believe this. This is the experience to be shared, clear? And in all these places, we only share experiences, clear? Ultimately, hard work has to be done by you, clear? So only experiences, if it's valid, if it is clear, it will really make your path easier. Purpose is that only. Is it fine? So I just needed to interact for you for half an hour or 1 hour, clear? In fact, I was not there with seminar, but I just wanted to share this experience with you that you need to follow this approach. Is it fine? Any question that comes to your mind? Anything else that comes to your mind? Only NCRTs. See, again I'll say, NCRTs is mandatory. That is basic ingredient for UPSC. But when I say Buddhism, I don't want you to restrict only to NCRTs. Read Buddhism even from internet. My purpose is everything should be there with you on Buddhism. In fact, I would recommend you make notes. Write broad heading Buddhism. Put a strict mark. Write all details. Gautam Buddha was born here in this date. He left the household in 29 years. He wandered for 6 years. He attained nirvana at this place. Then he gave this philosophy. Everything in 2 or 3 pages. And not only from NCRT. Take the book of R.S. Sharma also, Romila Thapar also, Net also, Guideworks also, everything. My purpose is not books. I'm emphasizing. My purpose is Buddhism to be there in your mind. तब क्वेश्चन सही होंगे आपके. आपने एक ही चीज पढ़ी तो कितनी चीज, आप एनसीईआरटी में कितनी चीज पढ़ेंगे? 10 इंफॉर्मेशंस. लेकिन वो 10 इंफॉर्मेशन से क्वेश्चन सॉल्व नहीं होंगे. तो आपको क्या करना है? मल्टीपल सोर्सेज लेने हैं. जहां से मिल रहा है बुद्धिज्म को लीजिए और एक शीट अपने पास लिख लीजिए, क्योंकि लास्ट टाइम में आप मल्टीपल बुक्स रिवाइज नहीं कर पाएंगे. लेकिन 2 शीट अगर आपके पास है तो 10 टाइम्स आप रिवाइज करेंगे. सिली मिस्टेक्स नहीं होंगे. आप स्टेटमेंट पढ़ेंगे, आपको पता है ये चीज क्या है. एंड बिलीव मी, अगर आपने ऐसे टॉपिक पर किया, एक स्टेटमेंट अगर ऐसा आया भी जो आपको नहीं पढ़ा है आपने, हो सकता आएगा, आप उसको डिडक्शन से एलिमिनेट कर लेंगे वहां पे कि हो नहीं सकता है, आपको आंसर मिल जाएगा वहां पे. पर्पस इज कि वो 2 घंटे को ध्यान में रख के करना है. हम क्या पढ़ रहे हैं उससे कोई मतलब नहीं है. 2 घंटे में हम परफॉर्म करेंगे या नहीं करेंगे उस पर हमारा रिजल्ट होगा. आप उस 2 घंटे में क्वेश्चन सही करने हैं आपको 60 क्वेश्चन. आप ये सोच के चलिए बस. तब बुद्धिज्म अगर मैंने आपको बोल दिया एनसीएम के फीचर्स, हो सकता है एनसीईआरटी में आपको सब नाम मिले, विपिन चंद्रा में मिले, सुमित सरकार में मिले, मैं कहता हूं स्पेक्ट्रम भी लिख लीजिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. लेकिन एनसीएम के सारे फीचर्स आपके एक शीट में होने चाहिए, कोई भी मिस नहीं होना चाहिए. अब आप बताइए एनसीएम से आप क्वेश्चन गलत नहीं करेंगे. पर्पस इज दैट. अगर मैंने कहा आपको वर्किंग क्लास, तो वर्किंग क्लास के इंफॉर्मेशन आपके एक जगह पे होने चाहिए. यू शुड बी देयर एट वन प्लेस, ताकि आप 5 बार रिवीजन करके जाएं वहां पे. फोकस्ड अप्रोच. उनको भी पता है सब चीज प्रिपेयर नहीं कर सकते आप. डन है. ज्योग्राफी है, ड्रेनेज पैटर्न है, एक क्वेश्चन तो आना ही है. अब ड्रेनेज पैटर्न के आप नोट्स होने चाहिए आपके, चाहे वो नॉर्दर्न रिवर्स हो या सदर्न रिवर्स हो, एक क्वेश्चन तो आना ही है. पॉलिटी है, लेजिस्लेचर से 3 क्वेश्चन तो आना ही है. मैं आपको ऐसे बता दूंगा 55 क्वेश्चंस. आप मिस्टेक मत करिए वहां पर. लेजिस्लेचर, अब लेजिस्लेचर से लक्ष्मीकांत से क्वेश्चन नहीं आएंगे, ये बात पक्की है. और डेप्थ में जाके पूछना है. अगर वो मनी बिल भी पूछेंगे या ज्वाइंट सेशन ऑफ पार्लियामेंट पूछेंगे तो कुछ कंसेप्ट उसमें ऐसा पूछेंगे जो आपको लक्ष्मीकांत में नहीं होगा. दैट टेक माय वर्ड्स. लेकिन अगर आपको पता है कि लेजिस्लेचर से 4 क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं तो आपको लेजिस्लेचर, चाहे वो डीडी बासु से करें आप, सुभाष कश्यप से करें आप लक्ष्मीकांत से करिए, आप कहीं से भी करिए. आई एम नॉट कंसर्न अबाउट इट. आप नेट से पढ़िए. यूपीएससी ने सोर्स थोड़ी बताया आपको, टॉपिक दिया है सर. आप टॉपिक तैयार कीजिए ना, ऐसे समझिए सीधे. यूपीएससी ने आपको टॉपिक दिया है, बुक्स नहीं बताया. आप टॉपिक तैयार करिए, नेट से करिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. लेकिन वो चीज आपके पास point, are you getting my point? What I mean to say, follow this strategy. ठीक है? Anything else? I hope I was able to convey what exactly I mean to say. You got the idea behind this. Follow this strategy. Still you have time. It's December only. You have 5 months with you. And 5 months is sufficient enough if strategy is right. Believe me. 55 questions कभी नहीं जाएंगे. To sell you through in prelims. अब मेंस में बहुत strategy skill का है. Mains is not also about reading much. It's about equipping yourself with writing skill. कम नॉलेज में भी आप क्वालिफाई कर जाएंगे. आपको लिखना अगर आता है तो. UPSC is more about skill. Prelims is all about skill. Skill आनी चाहिए आपको. बहुत स्मार्ट स्किल होनी चाहिए. You'll get through. वो स्किल नहीं है आपके पास, बहुत नॉलेज. नो मार्क्स नहीं आएंगे आपको. बिकॉज वो चाहिए उनको कुछ और वहां पे. आपको वो देना है, वो लिखना होगा आपको. प्रीलिम्स में भी आपको वो चीज समझनी होगी. Are you getting my point? So, when we'll start the history section, in fact, we'll be covering all those areas. But meanwhile, this is only the interactive session. So I discuss the strategy with you. Follow this strategy back at your place with all sections I'm telling you, and you will be at peace. Don't worry about it. Clear? So, shall we wind up this session now? Huh? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.